Um, I had asked the question. I had a couple of good, interesting answers. Um, you think about what I would type in and search if I was a customer looking for the item, which is good. Um, that's what you want to do when you're researching, when you're trying to decide what you want to use for your title. But it's not the very first thing I would want to do if I was setting up a new listing. It's up there when I'm setting up my titles, but it's not the first thing I'm going to do. The next person's I type in possible, I guess it's possibles, in the search bar. I need to get my glasses on. And the list will populate what customers are actually searching for. If it's not in the bar, I don't use it. Well, not everything that would be a good thing for that is going to pop up in the bar. So that is a good way to get things to research, but that's not exactly the best way to go about it, because what you type in and you start typing in is not going to pull up every possibility that you could think of, or that would possibly be good for that. So you really wouldn't have a way of knowing. It'll put in things to fill in based on what you're typing in, but it's not going to give you all of the things. So if you're selling a wire-wrapped opal necklace, it's going to fill in something towards that, but may not also give you things like bridal jewelry or other things. If it's not starting with the same letters, it's not going to pop up. So you would miss out on a lot of good potential key phrases or keywords if you strictly go by what's in that search bar. So Mike hit it right on the head. You look for similar products on Etsy. The reason for that is that's the first place you're going to go, is to look for similar products on Etsy. Two reasons for that. You're going to look there so that you can have an idea, first, if this is an item that's going to sell. And secondly, you're looking for shops that sell a similar item to get hints for what you would want to use for your title. So the first thing you're going to do is search for a like item on Etsy. Once you decide on what you're going to list and add to your shop with a new item, you search for it on Etsy and see, do I find the similar item? If you don't find something like it, either you're not thinking, good title words right from the get-go. So you want to just start with what it is first. And then find if you see things that are similar. Doesn't matter if it's exactly like what you have. Hopefully it's just a similar type item. And then once you do that, you're going to look for top sellers that are selling this similar type item. If it's a onesie with a special saying on it for kids, you're going to look for these custom bodysuits, or can't use onesies because you're not supposed to use that, but you're going to look for custom bodysuits for kids or for babies or whatever the particular saying is. So you're going to look for other shops that have it. And what you're looking for when you find these shops, you're going to look for top selling shops that, what I usually do is look and see if they have a lot of reviews or not. That's a good way to tell if they get a lot of sales. If they have a lot of reviews, they've obviously got a lot of sales. Then you go to click on their shop, see, okay, is what they've gotten a lot of sales in similar items to this, or do they have 3 things in their shop and they're really making more sales on jewelry and not the clothing or whatever it is. So you want to check that, and you want to get shops with similar items, and you want to get the ones that are seeming to be selling well with this item. And when you find the one shop, then you're going to look at the titles on the similar item, take down some notes of some top key wording that they've used or phrases, and just write them down. Get your pad, a piece of paper, and you're going to make notes, and you're going to write down what it is that you see that catches your eye that they've used, and get to get an idea. You're also going to look at their reviews, and you may not be able to click on their sales and see if they have them blocked, if they've sold a lot of that item, but you can look at their reviews and see if you see reviews for that item and get an idea if it's an item that they sell a lot that way. So that's what you're looking for. Once you get that and you write down, you check their keywords and you check their title and you make some notes. So I've got that. I've found the one shop that does that. Then what are you going to do next? So the next thing you're going to do is, you find that shop, you find the similar item. Then what? You've taken your notes. You're going to look for more shops with similar items, and see the same thing. You're gonna look and see if they have good reviews on those items. You're going to look at the titles, keywords. What's the top keyword you see them use if they have, more than one of that type listing. And then after you do that, you go looking for the next shop and the next shop and the next shop. You want to look for 4 or 5 shops that look like they are having good sales and are top sellers and sell a lot of this type item. Why are you going to keep looking for those? Because you want to find a pattern. You want to find several shops that sell similar items, that, and see what they have in common. What is a pattern that you're seeing in all of these shops? So I kind of try to bookmark them a little bit, because if you do that, when you go back to your home page, it'll show you things you've looked at similar. Or if you have 2 Etsy accounts, one that you shop from and one that you do the other, you can kind of save items and look at them, so you can go back and forth and look at them a little bit. But you write down if you see common phrases or common keywords that these shops are using. So what I have found is top selling shops that sell the type items that I sell, I have found in general, and these are big sellers, they are using common keywords and common phrases. That's why they have those high competition. When you look up certain phrases, they're high competition. Most of the time, top sellers are using those words and using those phrases. And the reason that they are is because they have researched it and found customers tend to use that wording too. And in order to get good sales, you want to get your item seen in front of where customers are searching. Having a low competition wording, and being on page 1 with low competition wording, you might get some sales because you're not competing with as many people with that low wording, but you're also not going to have as many customers looking. So you're not going to have the potential for as many views because nobody's using the wording. If they were, there'd be more competition for the wording. So that's what you have to get in your head, is that sometimes, a lot of times, in order to become a top seller, you've got to use high competition wording, because that's where the customers are. You got to jump in the pond that the fish are in. So you look for, in all these shops that you find, common keywords and common search phrases that they are all using. That's an indication that those words and phrases are getting them good results. So it's probably an indication that it's a phrase you want to use. So you write down the list of words and phrases that you see repeated in these top selling shops. This is why you're going to keep that pad and paper. This is old timey, keeping up with it, so that you can see what's working for those shops. Okay. And then, and if you have the Etsy Rank Pro, you can follow those top shops and you can get this information a little easier because you can get a keyword check on them. You can see where I showed the Pro version, what you can get. You can get some of this from there, but this is, if you don't have the Pro version, this is a good way to do it. And even if you do have the Pro version, it's a good way to start, so that you can get these lists. Once you make the list, manually, you take it to Etsy Rank and you check the wording. You do a keyword compare. You search the keyword graph and see if it's a long tail keyword and how it pulls. Does it show high competition, high engagement? What kind of views ranking does it get? Then you verify. Yep, they're using it because it is top selling words. They're getting a lot of views from it, and so that's what you want to use. You make a note of it, do your research. If it fits your items, then you sit down and form your title with it. You make your title so that you take those phrases that you're seeing and you put them down on paper. Then you're going to formulate your title in the correct format. So that it will get you good, you're using good wording to get good views, but you also want it to read well for the customer. So that's when you get your work done as far as getting the title together is, after you pick those words and research them, you're going to start forming it. You're going to get your main keywords and key phrases, and you put them into short, readable phrases. 2 to 3 short phrases that a customer might type it in if they were searching. Now here's a good way to look at it. You're going to write them down. Like if you go face-to-face selling and do a lot of local events, how are you talking to your customers and engaging with them in person? When they come up and look at your item and they asked about your item, what are you telling them about it? You're going to tell, if they say, oh, this is interesting, what is it? You're going to say, oh, it's a wire wrapped opal necklace, blah, blah, blah. You're going to talk to them, and you're going to talk to your online customers just like you would a person when you were looking at them face to face at a local event. And you're going to tell them about what you're selling. And the goal in doing it is, with Etsy's new guidelines, instead of making it a whole bunch of words and a word keyword stuff title, it's a word jumble, you're going to make it easy to read for a customer, and you're going to use as many of those good phrases as you can. So you have to learn to manipulate them, and if you find several good main keywords or tag words, or keywords that are in the tags that are like 1 and 2 words, like hand stamped jewelry or personalized gift, things like that you've written down. You're going to learn how to form them into these phrases to be used in your title. And you're going to use as many as you can. It's not about the short 3 or 4 word title. Etsy did say short, readable title. But, I watched the podcast 2 or 3 times, and I have filmed the transcript. I don't know that you can actually watch it again, but you can read the transcript. And they said 2 to 3 short phrases. Make them read like a sentence for the customer. Always put a comma and a space in between. And they said, use the whole space. We've given you the 140 character space. Use it. Make sure that you use as much good wording as you can, but just make it read better for the customer, like you were talking to them. The wording that you use in your title, doesn't need to be in a certain order. Well, for the search engine, no, it doesn't have to necessarily be in a certain order. The search engine picks up the wording from the title, and even if it's not in the exact order the customer types it, if there's words in there that would make the same order the customer types, they're going to pull it. So as far as that goes, it doesn't matter. As far as the order you put them in and the tags, it doesn't matter. Now, if you have a phrase in your title that is too long to be in one tag and you have to separate it in 2, I do think you should make the first half in one tag and the next half in another tag, so they are sitting side by side. So it kind of can pick it up side by side, but the tag words are set up as individual things. The search doesn't combine them together like it does the words in the title. So it doesn't have to be in any certain order. But when you type it in, you do want to make sure that you're thinking of one thing. You want to make sure that the wording at the front of it is that's going to go under the picture is a good thing that's describing exactly what you're looking for. The reason for that is there's a couple of reasons for that. You want to make sure that the wording under the picture tells what it is, because if it's something like a sign or a piece of jewelry that has writing on it, the customer may be looking on their phone or mobile device and they can't read the writing on the actual picture from the picture because it's a small little thumbnail picture on your phone. If it's on the computer, the picture's bigger and blew up and they might be able to read the actual wording. But on the phone, from right off the bat, if they're doing a search, they may not be able to read the wording. So you want to make sure what's underneath the thumbnail picture tells them what it is. And the wording goes with the picture. If it's a phrase on a, like on my jewelry, on a hand stamped necklace, it's a phrase they typed. If it's a photo, a t-shirt with wording on it, you put that wording there so it shows up under the thumbnail so they can easily tell what does it say on it. And then they'll click on it and they can see the rest of the title. The title's job is to get it in front of them. It's not necessarily to be a description of the item, because that's going in your description place. But you do want to think about what it looks like under that thumbnail for this reason, because if they're on their phone and they can't read what the writing says on the search from the picture because it's smaller, or they can't read what the writing is on the jewelry because it's small, they can read it underneath the picture enough to get that it's a shirt that says best friends or whatever it would say on the shirt. They can read that under the picture. And that helps the customer out. You always want to make sure to fill in as much details as possible, the size, the color, the material. Use as many attributes as you can that apply. Oh, I need to fix that. Sorry about that, y'all. I was typing in a hurry. And use at least 5 photos more if you can, even if part of the photos are like showing options, font options or color options or something like that. You want to use at least 5 because you want to make the customer feel like they're getting a better view of the item, like they're picking it up and looking at it. Using the sizes and the colors and the attributes, the search engine pulls from that and helps with that too. So you want to make sure you filled in all of that. Here's a sample of doing a title that, I would have my thumbnail picture here. This is a picture of the necklace. It is a 4-layer mother's necklace with kids' names on it. That's what it is. It would be called a mommy necklace. Other things I would put in the title, but this is what it is. It's 4 layers. It's a necklace with the kids' names on it. So that's what I'm going to have under my thumbnail picture. You want to make sure that the part under the picture tells what it is so that customers can read that on the phone. So if the customer, so if it was a custom, what in the heck? I am sorry. I don't even know how my slide got messed up. But so, if what is saying goes first. So the full title is a 4-layer mother's necklace with kids' names, custom personalized mom necklace, hand stamped mother's jewelry. So all of these phrases are good search phrases. So I'm going to use the whole thing, but I'm going to use the part here that, oops, lost my phrase, sorry. Let me go back to it. I'm going to use the phrase under it that's, the most important. Lost my train of thought, sorry. Right under it. But, once you get everything in order and posted, or if you're changing a title and reworded it, you post it, keep a watch on it check the views for several weeks. You may not see a result right away because, you know, this time of year it's slow. It could take weeks before you really get good results when people start looking for Mother's Day again. But just keep a watch on it. If you are using the Etsy rank and you have the Pro, so you can keep a watch on it, you know, do that snapshot, put it in your watch list, and then see how the changes work, and if it's getting you new sales. I'm going to go back now and I'm going to show y'all a little bit more about it on how you would look at this on Etsy. Okay, so say I'm going to go in and put up a listing for a mother to a angel, or let's see, let's put this way. Let's put angel mom jewelry. So I'm going to just type in a random, you know, title, angel mom jewelry. So then I'm going to look and I'm going to see different things here, and I'm going to look and see, do I see something that's similar to the what I'm think I'm going to sell? Is there a listing, you know, that's kind of what I want to sell, that's got the same saying or a similar idea? And then you're going to click on them and you're going to see, you know, does this person have a lot of reviews? So this one has 528. This one has 2,945 for their shop. So they're a top selling shop. And I'm going to click on that and I'm going to see, oh, you know, they've had 19,000 sales since 2012, and she's selling a lot of jewelry, and a lot of it's memorial jewelry. So I'm going to just look for the one that's similar to what I have and see what kind of listing, you know, wording, phrases that they have. Miscarriage gift, child memorial jewelry, personalized hand stamped and name and birthstone, baby necklace. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to think about, you know, what do I think might be good in this title. It's going to also show you here, the way they do it now a lot of times, it'll show you reviews on a similar type item for them. So, you know, you also will go back and check here and check, you know, under their reviews. And you can see if you see similar items that have reviews, you know, to kind of get an idea, is it something that they seem to be selling? And if they sell a lot of memorial jewelry, that kind of thing. So you got an idea about it. Then you know, after you do that, you're going to go back and you're going to look for, you know, other sellers. You look for those top selling shops to get an idea on there of, you know, what you're looking at, what kind of things that you think are similar. And once you grab these, see, here's another one. This is a different shop. Memorial ring, personalized bereavement. You know, you write those things down and you go through several, you know, 5 or 10 shops, and you write those key words down that are similar in the different shops, and the tag words that are similar in the different shops. And you make that list, and that's when you're going to go to your Etsy rank and you're going to do the keyword compare there, and you're going to check those things out. Let's see. I'm going to do the keyword compare tool, and I'm going to check for read. I'm sorry. I don't want to use that. Hold on. Let me see. What do I want to use? There's a good one. You're going to hit compare, and you're going to check some of those words that you've written down, and you're going to compare the keywords and see what you get with that. And then the ones that pull up the best result that fit that item, you're going to write it down. You also want to make sure that there's at least one good search phrase in all of the titles that fits the entire shop that I've been over a couple of times. You want to make sure it kind of fits everything, so everything is showing up in one good search. Too, so you're going to see if there's something that they have that's something that would fit everything in their shop or everything in your shop. And you check and see what's pulling the best. Personalized jewelry is high. Memorial jewelry is high. Infant loss is very high. Mommy Toy and Angel is medium. It does get a fair amount of competition. Search is unknown, but then it has 350 average views. It is something people look for, or they also look for Angel Mom jewelry. So I'm going to also check Angel Mom jewelry and see what that says. In this case, but you do this, go through and get these views. You see what your average views is. And if you have 4 good things that you can use in your phrases that will get you a ton of views or have a potential, high view views, if you add them together, then that's what you're going to go with and put in your sentence, in your title. Angel Mom jewelry, I spelled it wrong, so that would be why. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. I was typing too fast today. And this is a little on the slow side. Okay, so Angel Mom jewelry, yeah, not high competition, but it's high engagement. Gets 398 views, but all of these things are fairly good and would be good to use in the title for something like this. So when you're looking, you want to look at that, and you want to look at the searches, the engagement, the competition. Look at the type of average views that it gets. So if I took all this and added up, I've got 11. Wow, I have well over 25,000 views, potential average views here, that's added up. So that's what I'm going to look at as to whether I need to use it or not. So that's why you go back on Etsy Rank and look at that, and you go in and you compare those phrases, looking at them on Etsy also. But that's what I always do with the first thing is go to Etsy and look up the item that you're planning on selling and see what kind of potential views you are possibly going to get from it. Is it getting good views altogether or not? And kind of have an idea where you're going, what you think you need to do before you ever start writing it down. Oh, sorry. Is it getting good views? I'm going to click off of that because I'm listening to myself there. But I hope that gives y'all a little bit of help here with what you need to do. I'm gonna sign off now because I got a couple more things, but I'm gonna take a break tonight and go sit down and watch a little TV. But y'all have a good night.